Hello, Flat Rock third graders. Today I want to talk about how to make the Google slide for your Civil War presentation. So as you can see on my screen, I have an example of a slide, and yours is going to include much of the same information. Now, your topic will be slightly different. At the top, though, will be your title. And I just did a broad American Civil War because that's what we're studying. But yours might say something like the invention of the cotton gin or the exploits of Robert Smalls, or maybe just Robert Smalls. But the title, your subject, will be at the top. In the middle of your slide, you will have 3 facts on your topic. So, for example, 3 facts about the American Civil War are: 1, the war began at Fort Sumter in Charleston, South Carolina. 2, the war lasted 4 years from 1861 to 1865. And 3, the Union won the war. And at the bottom of your slide, you are going to include your source citation. So here you see that my source citation when I searched on SC Discus was American Civil War. That was my title. The location that I found it was the Encyclopedia Britannica, which I underlined. It's 2018, period, and then I got it online, so I wrote online, period. Now, let's talk about how you are going to do this information. So we're going to go here, and I have a blank slide. And whenever you open up Google Slides, this is what you're going to see. It's just going to start with a blank slide right here. Now, you have a lot of freedom as a group to create a colorful background, to write in whatever fonts you want and sizes that you want, as long as it is neat and we can read it. Now, let me give you an example of something that is not what we're looking for. It has different problems. First of all, I took my very first slide and I changed it a little bit. Let's pretend that I didn't spell it correctly. Well, that's going to lose points. Instead of writing American Civil War correctly, I spelled it American Civil War. Okay, now that's not good. You will lose points. And in the middle, I made my 3 points very small and in a color that you can't really see because of the color I chose for the background. Again, that's not legible. We can't read it, so you will lose points. Okay, so let's go back to our blank slide, and now let's talk about the fun stuff, how you are going to write in your slide. All right, there's only a few things that you're going to need to change or do, and it's completely fine to leave it as a white background with black font if you want to. But if you want to change the background, you see this tab right here that says background. You do background, and where it says color, and you can pick any color you want. Now, if you pick a very dark color, you're going to need to write in a white or a light color so that we can see it. But let's pretend that you want to have this grayish blue. Okay, if that's what you want, you just put done. And that will then be your slide background. Now, remember, you need 3 bits of information. You need a title, you need your subject, and then you are going to need your source citation. So this isn't really set up for what you need. So let's go here to layout. And you can pick the slide that gives the information you need. Now, I'm going to pick this one right here that says title and body because that's very similar to what we need. So right here is the title. And let's say that you had the exploits of Robert Smalls. Now, that's all you need to do. You've got your title there. But if you want to get fancy and you want to center that information, then you go here with a line and you can click on center and boom, it centers it for you. Part of this is just going to be having fun and exploring Google Slides. Now in here, you're going to write your 3 points and let's just pretend that we're writing our 3 points. There's 1 and here's the 3rd point. Whoops. And it's probably a good idea to number them. Okay. Now that's pretty small. If you want to make that larger, all you have to do is highlight that text and where it says size 18, change that. Now, a rule of thumb is if you're going to have it on a Google slide, it needs to be a minimum size of 24 for someone's eyes to be able to see it. But here, because I don't have a whole lot of text, I could really go bigger and still fit it in this area. So why don't I try 36? And I think that looks a lot better. Now, I'm going to do my source citation. Only for my source citation, now, it's not going to need to be as big. The body is the most important part. So I'm going to come down here back to size, and I'm just going to pick 18. And then let's pretend that I got Robert Smalls, because remember, we are going to write our subject, and then we're going to underline Encyclopedia Britannica. So I'm going to go right here to this underline, and we got it from Encyclopedia Britannica. And I'm going to stop the underline. You can put a period. It's 2018, and it came online. Okay. And this right here, if you do nothing else, completely meets the criteria. It is spelled correctly. Well, we'll pretend that this is, since those aren't really words, but it's spelled correctly. It can be seen. You have a title. You have your 3 points, and then you have your source citation at the bottom. But if you want to play around with it a little bit and make some changes, that's also fine. You might want to come back here to the beginning and just click enter and move that down a bit. You might want to come here to the body and center it. That, again, is completely up to you. You might want to change that font and make it a really, really dark blue. And you can still see that fine. There's still good contrast, and that's fine too. Or you might want to come here to your title. Again, you'd highlight it at this point, and you might want to pick a different font, and you can kind of scroll through here and see the fonts. Now, you want to make sure you pick one that can be read. So this says Exploits of Robert Smalls. If you picked a font, let's scroll through here, and some of them are rather hard to read. Let's say that you picked this one. And let's say that you only made it a font size 14. You're going to lose points because that's really, really hard to see and really, really hard to read. So if you want to increase the size, again, just click in that box, highlight it. You can then change it back to a larger size and maybe a different script, whatever you want to do. But again, you're just doing formatting, and you do get to have points for formatting it. Now, I'm telling you, you can pick any background you want, any font size and color that you want, as long as it meets the criteria. The biggest part that needs to be seen is this body. It needs to be spelled correctly, and it needs to be legible. So I hope you have fun playing with Google Slides, with creating your Google slide, and I look forward to seeing what you do create.